What? All right. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really don't know where they're gonna go with this. I mean, I suppose that they could get a little bit of like, if you move the camera, then everything shifts a tiny bit, and I don't know where they're gonna go with it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Let's try to sum it up like this. In one agreement or disagreement, do you think it's gonna end up like the Wii, where it's like, oh, that's so cool, I want one, and then 3 months later you're like,
why did I get that?
why did I get this?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's.
I think so.
I think what they're doing with it more is just advertising the fact that it can be done, as opposed to saying it's going to be this special thing. Because I don't think it's going to be any special thing you have to download. You just have to have a DSi.
Yeah.
And the 3DS is just a function of a DSi.
Yeah.
So just like another, DS.
I think it's a DSi with programming essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or are they gonna do it with the XL? Like the
XL's out now. No.
like
Yeah.
are they? Oh,
So-
Speaking of the XL,
What is the XL? I had not
the
heard
XL
about
is
this.
essentially just a really fat DSi.
Why,
Like we're
why-
talking markedly bigger.
yeah, like about
Like
maybe 2 times
like the
almost.
like the DSi. It's not 2 times.
Well, like it,
but it's
looks
like
really
the
big.
DSi. Like if you put the DS on like one corner of the DSi and line it up perfectly, there's a good inch to 2 inches on each side of
Yeah,
the
like
DS.
down
And-
and left.
Why exactly would you want this? Is it
It's like a lot heavier and stuff. But for gamers like me,
is it just a bigger screen?
I don't want it. Like why would I want the DS? I wouldn't want it so much because it's portable. I would want it because I want the games on it,
Yeah.
and it becomes more like a console that's somewhat portable.
yeah.
Like the only reason I use like my sister's DS is for Game Boy games.
And
Like,
like
old
that's
school.
that's the thing is like with DS is like for some people it's not just because it's portable and they can use it on road trips, but
Yeah.
like sometimes I just sit down and play my PSP,
Yeah.
and then I'm going like, damn, the screen is small.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And so they just said, look, if you want a big DS, here
Here's
is
a
a
bigger
big
screen.
DS.
Yeah.
yeah. I guess.
That's why it's XL.
I think it's just an interesting, an interesting direction for the.
Personally, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why it'd be nice. I mean, it's just a bigger screen. Look, it's easier to see and all that. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of an interesting thing to see when a lot of the time nowadays you're seeing, oh, look how small we can make things. You know.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Nintendo realized that
We've
small is great, but
People want big in America.
we've reached the peak of that curve where things are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and now we've reached the point where it's like I
and
can't see that screen.
All of a sudden they're just like, wait, this isn't practical anymore.
Yeah.
Here, if you want a big one, here's a big one.
Did
Yeah,
you guys
I mean,
ever see the mini Game Boy?
Yeah.
It was
No.
about like 2 fingers.
Oh god.
And my cousin had it.
it's
It was like basically
yeah, it's like the same size. It's like just barely bigger than the cartridges.
oh god.
yeah, it was like a cartridge was a screen, and you had like a
Admittedly,
little
though,
fun
Game Boy
things.
cartridges were pretty big.
Yeah.
No,
Well, no, they were
a Game
like-
Boy Advance cartridge.
Game Boy Advance cartridges were tiny.
Yeah,
No,
Game
that's not,
Boy.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance
it was
cartridges.
the size of a Game Boy Advance cartridge.
It was insanely small.
Itty bitty bitty bitty.
Like if
And-
you had the slightest defect in your eyes, you wouldn't be able to see anything. You're
Yeah.
like, I
That's
can't
kinda
play
weird.
Zelda on
really
this
creepy.
2-inch screen.
Yeah.
Like
I said, I think we've reached the peak of that curve. I mean, we're seeing the iPad. Things are getting bigger now as opposed to getting smaller. So,
Yeah.
we'll get to the iPad later.
Yeah. Well,
See, like I was dating for video game stuff, and
Yeah.
it was just iPad. It's like, okay, yeah, you've made a big iPhone that kind of is as big as a laptop and weighs a little bit less than,
yeah.
and except it's not a phone and it's not a laptop.
Yeah.
Great,
Uh,
awesome.
well, we'll
Continuing.
talk about that in a little bit.
So let's move on to wow.
What is
I've-
this standalone?
I've got these organized by a console this week. Fancy me, or not really console, but
Just continue.
yeah.
Anyway.
So 360. This was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We weren't able to do a show.
Yeah.
The standalone 250 gigabyte hard drive. Remember how we were talking about a little while ago? How I was having a hell of a time trying to find a 120.
Yeah.
That was because they were planning for the 250, and so it's coming out in the U.S.
All right.
Oh.
Yay!
So that's good, I guess, for people who get a lot of DLC or want to download a bunch of
However, you know how everyone was really mad about all those memory units and nobody really bought any of them? Except
Like
for a couple people
those-
who constantly were moving their profiles.
Like The flash drive type things.
Like the things that weren't flash drives, but were like big fatty bricks that were essentially memory cards for your 360.
Oh yeah, and they were like really small.
Oh
well, they've now Microsoft has agreed with you and said, yeah, those are dumb. you can use your USB flash drive.
Yeah.
And if you got an update this past weekend, that was it.
It's already.
That's what that update was.
That's what that update was.
Ah,
And so you can use up to a 16 gigabyte hard drive, or not hard drive,
But-
USB.
Yeah.
nice.
And what you do is when you put it in, it will ask you if you want to format it. And if you just say yes, it will clear off your USB and fill it up with formatted for Xbox 360 space.
Mhm.
Or you can say no, I don't want to use all of this. I want to use. I think you have a choice between like you don't get down to megabytes.
Yeah.
But it's
I
still.
think it increases at 500 megabyte increments,
Mhm.
so you can dedicate like only a certain amount of your.
Like you could just
Flash
say
drive?
like half or whatever.
And so now it allows you to like just store your profile on a flash drive. If you go to friends' houses a lot, you don't have to bother with recovering a bunch,
Nice.
which I've never bothered to do because I
you
figure
just
if I
save-
ever get a new 360, I don't want to have like. Isn't the amount of recoveries you can do limited?
No.
Really?
You can keep doing it.
I thought it was a limited.
No, I do it all the time.
Oh well, it saves you the bother of having
Yeah,
it
it takes
screwed up
so
in
long.
transit,
Yeah.
and it's like now you can just bring it and just
Pop
And
it
then
in.
you have like those asshole friends who will just like buy stuff on your account. And you're like, damn.
yeah, and it's like it keeps your drive in your
Yeah.
account in your hands at all times,
Yeah.
and also allows you to do things like with Forza.
Oh yeah.
Or DLC that you wanna, if you say have multiple 360s like I do that I play on, and don't want to lug your hard drive all over everywhere,
Oh yeah.
like you can just put that DLC on there
Mhm.
and put your profile on there. Just take that with you wherever you need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or say you have an arcade game that you really like. Like there are so many. It makes it portable.
Yeah.
It makes
It's basically
portable.
you put whatever you want on
it makes portable memory for the 360 accessible instead of
Mhm.
the stupid.
Having to carry around the big old hard drives.
Those memory cards were fatty.
Yeah. Was
Like they were big.
Yeah.
They were like
Like if
half
you
a
look at
brick
those
almost.
slots on the front of your 360, you're like, damn,
Yeah.
what are these for?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on.
This is also a big deal.
They're actually on Microsoft.
You know how when you go to buy points, it's $6.25 for 500 points, $12.50 for 1,000 points, or $25 for 2,000.
It's completely ridiculous, and
You can't just
And all
buy.
the pricing is 400, 800, 1,200.
yeah.
They've
So-
said, okay, we admit we're dumb.
Well, the reason they must have done that is so that when you buy, here I'm gonna give you $12.25 or $12.50, and what happens is you buy that awkward
And you got
number of
leftover
points, and you
points.
got leftover points, so you can, I don't know, buy
Which
stuff with the
admittedly are
avatar.
fun,
Yeah.
but
Come on, yeah.
It is kind of a cheap shot for making money because I mean they don't really need to do that. It's just kind of annoying.
and I think they've realized that and said, okay, that I think at least you're gonna be able to buy in 400 point increments, and I assume if they're doing 400,
They should do.
they'll just
Yeah,
do
they'll do
400,
less.
800,
Yeah.
1,200,
Yeah.
1,800.
I mean, the only thing I could get with like that leftover change of Microsoft points was I made a game with zombies in it, which is
Awesomest game ever.
Yes. That
Simply
was-
for the soundtrack, though.
yeah. Just the soundtrack is like.
makes
I
it all worth.
made a game.
I mean, if you try to buy that song on iTunes, it's like $2, and the game is $1. So
Really? It's
Yeah.
on iTunes?
That's
I bet it
hilarious.
is.
That's hilarious. Anyway, yeah.
You're-
So that's
you're-
really nice. So
yeah.
Microsoft can stop nickel and diming us.
Everyone can say, yay, Microsoft, you're...
Not complete assholes.
It's like 3 years ago we were like, Microsoft, you suck.
Yeah.
Sony, you're dumb. EA, you're the Sith. Activision, nobody cares what you're doing.
yeah.
Now it's Activision, you're an asshole and nobody likes you. Go sit in that corner. EA, you're reformed. We like you. Microsoft, you're doing things right. We like you as well. Sony, you're making a rebound. Way to go.
yeah.
Nintendo,
What are you doing?
stop
man?
making Wii's. You named it a Wii. Come on.
Well, we shouldn't bring that up.
Gears 3.
Gears of War
3. So, I actually haven't read into this too much. I never was much of a Gears.
Neither have
fan.
I, for the exact same reason. Quinn,
I
you
read
not?
up on it, but I was not really a Gears person.
Yeah.
But I did some
Informationals.
informationals, yes. And so I think people were. It's been the people behind Gears have been,